Uh,
All right, you're watching the Royal Rant, where we talk about the LA Kings and other stuff. I'm Ryan.
Tim.
By the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, please, it's going to take like 2 seconds, two things to do, like and subscribe. I think that could actually be accomplished in maybe less than 2 seconds.
Probably.
A quick subscribe, a quick like, and then if you're feeling it, you could write a comment. You could be like, oh my God, Ryan looks so old, or Tim looks really cool. He's wearing a great shirt, whatever, you know? I guess we have to talk about the Kings' utter destruction in Toronto, Ontario, that took place just a couple hours ago. Reactions, Tim.
Yeah, yeah, right off the bat. Just, they lost that game in the first and
Nobody's playing defense.
yeah, because you expect okay, they're switching to this new system, they've been playing the 1-3-1 for years, but you think they would have ironed some things out, but
Well, that's definitely not ironed out because you know what it looks
no.
like? Everybody just do what you feel like.
It looks like yeah, everyone's just scattered around. Everyone's chasing after. It's weird. They look so disjointed, and
It looks
you
like
know,
a pickup hockey game at the Ontario ice rink, not in Canada, but Ontario, California on
yeah,
Sundays.
they just looked so out of sorts. And yeah, like you said, it was
Unbelievable.
yeah. When I heard that Matthews hadn't, I don't think he had a point yet. I was like, oh shit, he's gonna he's gonna get things going
He's
tonight, and he
really
did.
filthy. I'm sure he was
Yeah.
just licking his chops, like, oh, the Kings are coming in? All right.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, it's not just tonight. I mean, defensively, they look pretty bad. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, I think probably their best game on this road trip from hell is like probably Boston.
what then?
They didn't deserve to beat Buffalo.
No,
Kind of
not
just
really.
lucked out into
Mhm.
that one,
Yeah.
their only
Mhm.
regulation win. Ottawa, I mean, books could be written about that stupid game.
Isn't it? It was such a okay, and then so I know when we got rid of PLD and got Kemper, a lot of people, or I don't know, people were like, "Well, he's not really great anymore. I don't know, he's not really even good anymore." But I was like, "Nah, give him a chance." In the first two games, he looked cool. But man, but that he couldn't stop anything. But it was so clear like he was hurt. It looked, just from watching from home, you're like, this guy looks hurt. Like he can't
Yeah,
get
so he
across
was
the
trying
crease.
to play through something,
Well, that's what I wonder. I'm like,
I guess. Or he
did he
hurt
try to
himself
hide it?
somewhere
Yeah.
early in the first period or something. I don't know, but
Yeah, but it's just weird how they just rode with him. Even, okay, we have the back to back, but it's like I don't know, at least after the second, he should have been I don't know why they kept him in the whole game.
yeah,
I don't
so
know.
give up 8 goals in
Because
Ottawa, 6 goals. So it's like they've given up 14 goals in like 2 games. It's pretty awesome.
yeah. And they could have, I think they could have, they could have won that game, but
Yeah, so and Riddick, it's like you know, some of those chances, they just kind of hung him out to dry and stuff.
for sure, totally.
But he
There was
didn't
no,
have it,
he
either.
didn't have the, he didn't have the big save Dave mojo tonight.
Definitely not. So, God, man.
So,
So,
so yeah, if Kemper's like a day to day and he's out for a while, I mean, maybe he'll be back pretty soon. But you have a tandem of Riddick and Copley hasn't played like in a long time. This is the second game, first game back with the Kings, but it's like, man, that's kind of scary to think about, right?
oh yeah.
Especially how bad the Kings are defensively.
I mean, some people were saying on Twitter, like, well, maybe this is why, McClellan had the 1-3-1 because he didn't think these guys could play another system.
Well,
Probably kind of early to give up on it because they kind of had it going in Boston.
yeah,
So maybe, it's early days. But yeah, they definitely look like nobody knows what the hell's going on out there.
No, they exactly. They look
That's the
totally
overall
lost for
vibe
sure.
of the Kings game right now. Like
Mhm.
from shift to shift, it's like, what's happening? What are guys doing?
And that was the same story last year a lot of times, where
That's
they're
true.
just yeah.
I guess last year sometimes they'd have more structure for 40 minutes, but then they could still fall apart in 20 and lose anyway. Now it
Yeah.
just seems like there's just there isn't much structure at all now.
No,
But I guess I mean bright side, it's cool that Clark has like 4 points in 4 games.
that is cool.
Turcotte looked good.
Jerkot looks really good. He's
Like
looking
maybe
good.
so good, maybe he shouldn't be slumming on the fourth line. Maybe he
That's
should
what I was gonna
be
say.
up.
That dude needs more minutes, man. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah. Um, Clark does seem to take a lot of penalties though.
Yeah. I
And
mean, I guess he'll get that figured out
yeah,
probably.
you hope so.
I mean, at least he didn't catch the puck and skate away with it tonight like he did the other night.
That 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 cracked me up. I haven't seen anybody do that in like so long. Like a that's, that was pretty hilarious.
So 3 games to go. They got to get right back on the horse tomorrow in Montreal.
Hmm.
Ducks in Vegas. I guess
Hmm.
depending on what happens, they could kind of salvage this and make it not too terrible.
Hmm.
I mean, they only have one regular, so they're 1-1-2. I mean, they screwed up my predictions, but
My kid.
they got to get 2 points against the Ducks. Of course, I mean, saying that probably means they'll just get smoked, but
God, I hope not.
and sometimes, sometimes they kind of catch Vegas at the right time, and they actually have played them okay the last few years, you know?
Yeah, they've always had like pretty close games,
Yeah.
you know? Mm,
But yeah, it was that, yeah, going into last season, like the last, I don't know how many games were like 1-goal games.
hmm. It's
A
usually
lot of
like that.
OT games, a lot of so tight games.
Mhm.
So they still have, and provided, if they can somehow get points tomorrow or just, win tomorrow, they should definitely
Hmm.
be fired up to because they've had 2 pretty heinous games,
Stanky.
2 really nasty games, very stank, not in a good way.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so we'll see what happens, but I guess the good thing in Southern California sports is that the Dodgers are crushing the Mets
Yeah.
7-0. I think that's probably a final now, right?
Muncie just hit one.
Muncie just hit one. Oh man.
Mhm.
Now see, I was like,
Just
what
destroyed one.
he's been walking a lot, and that's usually when you know that he's about to turn into a monster. Because
Hmm.
when he's not chasing balls, when he's only hitting strikes, they usually go a long way out into the
Hmm.
night sky. So that's
Hmm.
a good sign. So they're still crushing the Mets. Save some runs for tomorrow, guys. What do we got here? It's taking its sweet old time. 8-0, bottom of the ninth. Should be able to hold that. Now, if we're
Oh
if
God.
this game's still going on at the end of this podcast, there's going to need to be some explaining to do.
Yeah.
But no, you like that. You like being up 2-1 in a 7-game series. I
Hmm.
mean, sure, they still don't have any starting pitching and they seem to use their bullpen all the time, but
Seems to be working.
whatever works, man.
Hmm.
So it's time for a little segment that we like to call Only One May Remain. Are you up for the challenge?
I am. I think I could do this.
All right, so this is still in the musical realm,
Okay.
and only one of these three may remain. Are you ready?
Hmm.
The Offspring, Blink 182,
Oh man.
Green Day. Go.
Oh
You have the floor.
man.
That's The Offspring, Blink 182, and Green Day. Only one may remain.
Boy, that's bad.
Well, it's not always good bands. Sometimes you have to, sometimes you have to decide, you have to save one terrible band who's
Who
maybe
would I
just not as
pick?
terrible as the others.
I mean, the Offspring are terrible. I mean, just horrible.
Now, what is it about The Offspring that you find so off-putting?
they're just a cheesy, corny band.
But I always trip out on that the dude Dexter. He's got like a PhD in microbiology or something,
huh.
and he's got like a
Well,
pilot's license. He's like a genius. He
that's
was like
funny.
valedictorian of his high school.
It's funny too. Well, it's not funny. Yeah, but have you ever seen like some of their live performances? Like this fool, is his voice is just so awful. Like I don't. It's like Pretty Fly for a White Guy is like the dumbest shit.
Definitely. And
You
yet,
know, it's like a Weird Al thing almost something to me. I was like, this is so lame.
if you want to trip out on just everything, just look up how many records they've sold. You won't be able to get out of bed for a week. I mean, it's just it's incredible. All right, so The Offspring, Blink 182, and Green Day.
Man, I don't know. That's really hard. I hate Green Day too. They're just awful. I
All
hate
right, we're
Blink
starting to make
too.
some progress. So you hate, so that means so you're saving Blink. That's
No,
where
I
this
don't
seems
know.
it seems like this is where this is heading.
Honestly, I think I probably would.
Okay, you're saving Blink. All right, so tell us why.
I don't know. I can't like say a valid reason. I guess man, yeah, I don't know. It's funny because like you think of all the bands that like kind of went well, yeah, I just don't know why any of those bands became popular. I
Just
remember Blink
oh,
used to play
I
at the
mean,
Showcase
huge.
Theater Corona all the time. I mean, well, it's just all those I don't know. I never understood why that particular like pop punk sound like became so popular,
Hmm.
you know? I don't get it. Uh, who would you say?
So you're saving Blink though? We have to have you on record.
Yeah, I don't know. I was gonna say like the guitar sound. I just kind of like BB or like that dude who plays drums for him's like
I could you could save him for that because he's a really good drummer, that dude.
mhm,
What's the name? Travis Barker or something like that. He's
mhm.
kind of recognized as just kind of being a kick-ass drummer. And he probably looks around and went, why do I play with these dorks?
It's like he makes a shit ton of money.
Well, yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, see, I'm with you, the Offspring, and it's mostly because of the vocals. I hate that guy's vocals.
Mhm,
And it's just, yeah, it is corny. I guess musically, maybe they have some cool riffs in some of their stuff or like a pretty cool guitar sound. Um,
mhm.
I guess they're they kind of have, I guess they kind of have their own sound in a way, because they're not really punk, but they're not really metal. They kind of have their own thing. I guess you can give them credit for that, but no, I can't stand. Normally, if I'm actually listening to the radio or the Offspring, or if I'm listening to Spotify and they try to play some Offspring on me, it's gone.
Yeah.
I can't hang. Um, yeah, see, I'd probably hesitate between Blink and even Green Day because I have to admit there are a few Green Day songs that I kind of like. Um, the ones that sound kind of a little more punk. I
Mhm,
think I like Green Day. I mean, to a certain extent, I like their bass player.
mhm. Oh yeah.
Um, and I think it's that song called Longview. He plays that really cool bass intro
Mhm.
that I guess I read something where I guess he was high on acid when he came up with that. I guess he thought he was playing some jazz thing.
Oh, that's pretty
And
funny.
then when he came back to Earth, I guess somebody must have told him, "Hey, that's a cool bass line."
Mhm.
Um, I mean, Blink, they have kind of some catchy stuff, but so corny though. And that whiny singing style
Yeah, terrible.
is rough.
It's funny. It always astonished me like a band like those guys would become popular and like the Descendants would. It just never makes any sense to me.
Yeah, there's almost like, so where's the justice? Because it's just coming out. It's just being on the scene at the right time, and
Mhm.
for whatever reason, like maybe getting maybe getting picked to open for some bigger band and just kind of I don't remember how Blink became so I remember seeing them open for Madness in Santa Barbara.
No shit.
So that probably wasn't too far after they were playing like Corona and stuff.
Hmm.
You know, what was that place? The Showcase?
The Sugars, yeah, they used to play there all the time. I wouldn't, and you
At
know, and people,
some point, I mean, I doubt it was Madness. Like, could you imagine Madness was like, we should get those one Blink 182 blokes to open for us. Or, I mean, it must have just been must have been some favor between record labels or something.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I remember that's the other thing too. I remember kind of like in high school before they became famous, like girls kind of liking Blink, you know. So it's like, yeah, if you can get like,
Well, there's that, yeah. They were
mhm.
popular in on that. And then, yeah, you know, I might say Blink too. For not even for a musical reason. It's just that that one guy, the bass player, Mark Hoppus or whatever, you know, he had cancer a year or two ago.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Like came back from that and um on his YouTube, like there was some like him like trying to remember like after like having like chemo brain fog or whatever, trying to like remember his bass parts for those Blink songs and stuff.
Oh shit.
So I was kind of rooting for him after that, you know, because it's such a shitty thing to have cancer and you know. And then
Mhm.
I guess like Fender has a signature bass for him. And you're gonna be like, oh my God, why? But at least, but I was reading a guitar player and he was like kind of humble about it. He's like, yeah, you know, you can buy my signature Fender bass and you'll probably play it like way better than I do. So I thought that was kind of cool, you know, the way he
Mhm.
was just like that he can kind of make fun of himself. So I get, oh my God, I guess we're saving Blink.
Isn't that weird? You ever
It's pretty
think
weird. I
you would
guess there's
ever?
some, you know, they're from SoCal. Yeah, we'll say Blink. So now, sorry everyone, the off well, no, not sorry. This is good. The Offspring and Green Day have ceased to exist.
Well, I could sleep easier now.
Only one can remain, and it is Blink 182. Not too shabby. Now, do you have any Kings related rants?
Well, here's something I was going to ask you about. What do you think about Spence getting healthy scratch?
It seems like a really short leash, you know?
Yeah, right.
I mean, what, it's been that was what the fourth game?
Hmm.
And
So he played.
kind of reminded me of like, oh man, it seems like McClellan's jam all over again.
Yeah, exactly. Hmm.
Now, I mean, yeah, he hasn't been great, but I mean, they kind of designated him as like, you know, they're using it, and you know, it's partly because of Doughty's injury, but he's like, you know, he was like the top line right side defenseman, you know,
Hmm.
and all of a sudden he's just poof in the press box. It seems kind of, it seems a little, yeah, a little
Yeah,
rash.
yeah.
Um,
So I
Edmondson went back to LA because his wife's giving birth.
hmm.
Um,
What do
he
you
hasn't
think about?
been he hasn't he's kind of been okay so far,
Hmm.
you know.
He delivered one of his patented cross checks in
Yeah,
Buffalo.
he
Was
did,
that
and
JT
he didn't get
Zucker?
called for it either, did he?
Yeah, no, he
Yeah,
got
it was a
away
total. Yeah, it should have been a penalty. That was cool. Just broke that guy's back in half.
with it. And then Janelle, I think he's been uh I thought, you know,
Yeah, he scored that cool goal.
yeah.
And,
And then I liked how he was going after
McEwen, right?
well he fought McCune, but in Boston he was going after Zadorov.
Oh
He
yeah,
didn't
and
want
Zadorov was like, nah.
that,
No,
even
I
though
mean that is cool to have a little grit in there. I mean,
mm,
I think it's foolish if you're like one of these guys that thinks, yeah, he's probably going to score 27 goals again, like he did that one time for the Preds. I don't think so.
mm,
But if they brought him kind of just for a little sandpaper, as they like to say,
yeah,
maybe it'll be okay. I mean, you know, it's early days. There's a lot of hockey to be played. They've got to figure a lot of stuff out.
for
Um,
sure.
they're kind of lucky that they've gotten the points that they have on this trip, you know.
Hmm.
They really did, like we talked about earlier, they deserve like a big goose egg in Buffalo. Really,
Hmm.
the way they played.
And you know that's the thing too. I remember watching that game and thinking like, man, like first line hasn't done anything, been pretty invisible out there. And then Kopitar went on his tear, but look, Ferrier's looks so good. I
Right,
mean,
that's another bright spot, right?
yeah,
And he's
because
doing good stuff. And it's not just always not always about creating chances, but he's getting pretty good at getting loose pucks and taking pucks
hmm
off guys,
hmm
doing a stick lift. He seems like he's improved in that aspect of his game, along the boards,
hmm
retrieving pucks.
hmm
Um, and maybe he was a little bit snake bit last year because he probably should have had more goals based on like, his shot totals and stuff,
hmm
but maybe some of those will go in this year. That would be awesome.
Yeah. No, because I was thinking like, man, I hope this is not like another I'll follow thing where this. I mean, it was his first season, but just a guy who's not gonna crack 20 goals or anything, or it's not really that dynamic, but he looks
No, I think he
improved.
could do it. I think he can.
hmm
I mean, just about will he be more consistent? Because that follow used to have those stretches where he looked really rad and then he would just
Yeah.
disappear off the face of the planet,
hmm
for 2 months and then come back. Wow. Let's see. Do you have anything to add? So as part of our project, we call it People Do Stuff Wrong. And it's really not to be negative, but we said, I think you said we wanted to help rebuild society,
Yeah, boy.
which over the last several years has just become just torn apart.
Mhm.
Do you have anything to contribute to this noble endeavor?
Let me. I can't. Jeez. Hmm.
I mean, I can
Actually,
start out with one. There's
go ahead.
one that I find to be pretty appalling, and it's something that you see on Southern California freeways.
hmm
And the five basically up and down the entire state, but definitely you see it as soon as you get pretty close to LA County.
hmm
You're driving like 85, and all of a sudden there's some cool guy in like a 1992 Acura Integra that just comes up on your ass, and he's doing like 140.
hmm
You can't even really see his front end through your windshield, through your rear view, because that's how he's like this close to your bumper.
hmm
This same jabroni immediately just goes from the fast lane all the way to the slow lane, passes some minivan, and just proceeds to zigzag. And I just assume we'll do that all the way to Valencia or wherever this idiot's going. San
hmm
Fernando Valley. I don't know. Where would an idiot like that live? Somewhere in those parts. Maybe Santa Clarita.
Yeah, that's what.
I don't know. But
hmm
I just think, first of all, dude, no one gives a shit about your 1992 Acura Integra, right?
hmm
You're gonna kill yourself. You're gonna kill somebody else.
Somebody else.
Um, I don't know if you understand. I'm not really a physics expert, but if you hit somebody doing like 130, shit's gonna go down. It's gonna be bad, right?
hmm
It's gonna be a multiple car pile up on the grapevine or something. And that's a very unique kind of SoCal thing. I don't actually see that many idiots doing that up in like San Francisco or San Jose.
No, yeah.
Sometimes, but it's very unique. Like, and I'm just wondering, you're very likely unemployed. Like, where are you in such a hurry to go? You know?
I
I can't
I'm
think what
guess
other than unless you're trying to take your woman to a maternity ward to give birth or something, or there's somebody in your car who's dying of a gunshot wound, what justifies that kind of idiocy behind the wheel?
I'm gonna say it's probably due to heavy meth consumption is what's going on. And you know,
Well, I guess that would at least be some type of explanation for it. The other thing that I always find incredible is how low key everybody around this insanity is. Like nobody, we're just used to it.
no,
We're
yeah, that's
just
true.
used to like two or three idiots reenacting a scene from like Fast and Furious 3 or something.
hmm
And, I guess there's nothing to be done other than just kind of like try to get out of the way and
Yeah,
not be killed.
exactly. That's the best thing to
But you
do.
don't really see anybody on a cell phone going like, hey, and the thing that blows my mind, it's like, I'll see a CHP pulling over like a minivan. I never see them just swoop down on two or three of these these idiots racing like and doing like 150 on the five.
Yeah,
Like
you know,
literally doing like 140 miles an hour on the five. I never see those guys get busted.
no, it's true. There's no justice for that. And it's so funny too, because it's like I don't know, it seems like when we were younger, there were way more like highway patrol and
Hmm.
like cops just like on the freeway. It's like now like you never see them. So I think, especially out here, people just go fucking buck wild. And
I know it's really like a Mad Max kind of Thunderdome kind of vibe. It's like
you notice it driving back from like your place, it's like you go through LA, it's like, oh, it's getting a little dicey here. And then, heading back to the Inland Empire, it's like, okay, this is like Mad Max times, like it's fucking Thunder Road or whatever it's called. It's
the
like
only thing that is even close to it, and it's kind of weird because for some reason around Salinas in like the Salinas Valley and at the next few towns, people kind of drive like LA idiots.
just aggressive. And once again, I'm gonna
And I
blame
want
that on heavy meth consumption, alcohol, like
I mean, I don't, it's kind of, it's trippy how like kind of localized it can be. But
no,
then
it's funny, yeah.
as soon as you get anywhere even close to, LA County, then it's just like a free for all. But yeah, like it gets worse as you
Mhm.
go on the 210 and head like, the San Bernardino and stuff.
Oh yeah.
But stop being idiots. That would be I'm concerned for you. There's really no reason to drive like such a moron, you know?
Mhm.
If you kill somebody and you live, you're gonna feel terrible about it. You're probably gonna spend a long time in prison. It's not really cool.
No, no.
What do you think? You got something?
Let's see.
Or it could be people doing stuff right. I mean, it doesn't always have to be wrong. Sometimes people do stuff right. You see it, you should applaud it, right?
Yeah, it's true. We should encourage and highlight positive behavior. I mean,
Because
it's
it's
funny.
so rare.
It's funny. I'm kind of drawing a blank right now but I'm constantly yelling and getting upset about stuff. I just can't seem to think of anything right now, which is, I was trying to think. I was getting mad at something today.
Was it a driving thing?
No, it wasn't a driving thing. I think it was like a political thing, or I don't know, something. It's funny. Um, my wife, she had to go into work today, and it was like a growth mindset like workshop kind of thing they were
Growth
forcing him
mindset.
to do. And I she was just like, yeah, you need to you should have gone to that thing because you have an anger mindset. It's like you need to, I'm like, huh, yeah, maybe you're right.
Growth mindset versus anger mindset.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
But see,
I suppose if you could do a
that's
growth mindset, that would be cool.
that's the thing. Well, I just get upset about, stuff.
Well, try to remember what stuff is within your dichotomy of control, right? There's
Hmm.
only so much you can do about the vast majority of stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like to do. Oh,
So
I can't remember. Did we talk about this one already?
people
Uh,
having fires when it's 105 degrees out.
okay, no, I got a perfect one. So, out here, these fucking solar panel like companies come to your door like 5 times a day, you know, and it's super annoying, especially when you have a sleeping baby in the house.
Especially when you have a sleeping baby. Yeah.
Yeah, so I got one of those no solicitation uh you know little plaques, put it right by the door. But I mean, there's no way you can't see it, right? I'm sitting there, the baby's asleep. I see this dork on like one of those segways, like pull up to
Like
go
a
into my
like a
walkway.
Segway for real?
Yeah, for real. What, a Segway? Or it's not like it's one of those hoverboard. It doesn't have like the handles, but it's one of those things where they just kind of lean on and
Right,
cruise.
right, right.
I haven't seen anybody
I
like
think
rock one of
those are
those
called hoverboards, right? Or something like that.
hoverboards. I haven't seen anybody rock one of those since like 2017, 2018. But this fool rolled up on one and rings my doorbell. And I'm like, oh God. It's like, oh, first of all, I would never ever like that's what I who are the rubes who are still buying stuff from people who just show up at their door? I'm like, who are these like people actually buy from you? Like this makes no sense to me. Every time that happens, I feel like, am I living like in the 1920s? You know, like this is just like so weird. Like
You're like, is this a prank? Am I being pranked?
yeah, like why there I don't think there'd ever be a day where someone would ring my doorbell and I'd be like, you know what? I'm gonna buy I didn't want this, but I'm gonna buy this
I
from
will
you.
take this set of encyclopedias.
Unless you're a Girl Scout, which they don't even come to your door anymore, right?
And not really. They kind of camp out, and that's also annoying.
Um,
They just kind of camp out in front of like every supermarket and they cover
yeah,
both entrances.
yeah.
You have to be a jerk like twice, you know?
Hmm.
Or if you
Hmm.
get in, they catch you on the way out, you know?
Yeah. So this idiot comes to the door, rings the doorbell, and I was like, okay, well, I don't want to open the door because I gotta open all the locks. It makes noise. The baby's gonna wake up too, right? And she like, it's funny, like a loud noise might not wake her up, but if she hears a door, she knows someone's coming through and she'll wake up, right?
That's cute.
So then he rings the doorbell again, followed up by this dumbass knock, like a little like making a little rhythm out of it. And I'm like, oh man, okay, that's it. So I get up and I just open the door. I'm like, can you read this? Can you read what this says? And he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I was like, you just woke my kid up. I was like, don't come to my door again. Like, don't. And he's like, well, I'm real sorry. And then I was like, no, don't ever, ever come to my door again. And I just, I didn't slam the door because I didn't want to like scare the baby, but I was just like, good God. Now,
That is a I'm wondering if like in 2024 and with the TikTok and Instagramization of people's brains, do they people not know what solicitation means? No
well, that's
soliciting?
that. I wonder, but I mean,
It's a
they'd
real
have. I
old
mean,
school. It's like a thing that was like, people would put on the door in like 1942.
yeah. So it's almost like, well, maybe he didn't look that young. Like he looks 30, maybe, but still, that's pretty young. But I'm like, I don't know. Do I have to just like put a sign out there that
Do
says
not
I will
knock on
not
this.
buy? Yeah, I
It's
will
going to be a
not buy.
paragraph. Do not knock on this door. There is a young baby that frequently takes naps. Thank you
Yeah,
for
and
your
I,
understanding.
but so the here like well that's a perfect example, right? You have people who just live on their phones, especially young people. People just nonstop staring at their screen on their phone, getting all these ads. That's how they, buy stuff. And I'm just like, so this, but like someone coming to your door with like a fucking briefcase, like
Full of
you think
solar panels.
I'm like, how how often does this guy make a sale?
I know. I feel sorry for that dude in a way because I mean, what a tough gig. Like going door
And
to
then so
door
then you're just
now.
like,
Like who does that?
so there's my next point. It's like, so this guy's probably like a parolee. He probably can't find another job. Like, I'm just like, I don't want him at my door. Like, you know what I mean? Because any smart person would have a better job, right? Anybody else, unless you're just like, no, no, you, yeah,
Unless you just really believe in solar power and clean energy and you just want to get out,
because
it's raring to go to get people solar, man.
because in this state you could go to McDonald's and make $20 an hour. This dude, I'm telling you, is not pulling that in.
Yeah, that is a
You know
rough
what I
gig
mean?
though, going door to door trying to sell solar panels.
Yeah,
Yikes.
it's just now that needs to be put to an end. And if anyone sees this, I'd like to know, like, if you do this, do you ever get a sale? I mean, I'm doubt no one's gonna see this, but I'd be the next, because this is what's gonna happen. Not that dude, but some other jackass from one of those companies is gonna come next week, and and they're gonna ring the doorbell. I'm gonna just be like, does anyone ever buy anything from me? Like this is crazy. Is it just like some old crazy lady who wants to talk to somebody? And then you find out she doesn't have any money anyway. Like you try to like,
After she signs up for like the full
yeah,
Cadillac solar package, you're like, wait a
yeah,
minute, this lady's
yeah.
totally insolvent.
Hmm.
Yeah, also, do they ever make a sale? What kind of commission do they get? I mean, these are
Yeah,
interesting questions,
really.
but it's
So
tough out there to make a buck.
that's just like one of those things where you're just like, one, this is so annoying. two, I would never buy anything for someone who just shows up at my door. And three, it seems like such an old-fashioned, archaic thing. Like I can't. It's just really crazy that people just go around
Yeah,
door to door.
I didn't know people did that.
Yeah, for
Yeah, I
we're,
remember. No, I mean, actually, I think some solar people came to our place not that many years ago. Um, they had like a clipboard. They were just kind of asking questions about. I vaguely remember something like that. But yeah, I mean, it's hardly ever happens where somebody comes to your door and tries to sell stuff.
this happened a couple of months ago. Same thing. The dude rang my doorbell. Uh, maybe this was sometimes last year. I don't think the baby was born yet, and I opened the door, and he's just like on his like looking at his phone for a few seconds before he even acknowledges me, and I'm just like, motherfucker, like, are you kidding me?
I got
Are
up,
you
I
kidding me?
unlocked all 18 of my locks, and then I finally get here and you're looking at your phone.
I opened the door, and now I'm waiting on you. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Oh man.
I was take a couple of steps inside, and then I exhale, use my stand your ground law just because like I was
No,
so
wait, there's no
pissed.
stand your ground law in California. Is there?
There used to be.
Really? If somebody comes into your house?
Well, yeah, you can't invite them in. That's I mean, like, that doesn't work.
Well, I guess we better get you hooked up on some growth mindset.
Yeah, no, I have quick to anger and
Massive,
rage
quick,
mindset.
quick to anger mindset.
My like
Sometimes that
threshold.
can come in handy,
Oh
depending on
no,
the
sure.
situations. Um,
And my
right.
threshold bullshit is like,
I think we made a lot of progress. We
I think
cleared
so
up
too.
people that are what do you call that? When you're driving so out of control, it's like a crime, like it's
Reckless endangerment.
reckless endangerment. We cleared up what no soliciting means, which might be
Mhm.
helpful to people. We saved Blink 182.
Boy, that
It
was a rough one.
Yeah, that was a rough one.
But I don't think these things are gonna get easier.
We've
But
taken some
that was rough.
positives about the Kings. We like the way Turcotte's playing. We like Clark. We like the way LaFerriere is playing. Um,
Yeah.
we don't really like anybody else at the moment, do we?
Um,
Andre Lee's had a few
yeah.
moments.
I
I
think
like him. I
Fiala's
think
been
he's going to be
good.
pretty good.
Fiala's been good.
So we'll see what they do. I think they're going to win tomorrow. I don't know why. Maybe I'm nuts. I think they
No, I
bounce.
think they will
I
too.
think they win, and then we'll take it from there. Go Kings, go! Go
Go,
Dodgers!
go Dodgers, yeah.